the freaking history of this company at this point is just insane. Okay, like it really is.
Let's go ahead and start there, because that is useful context.
So remember, when you look at where this has come from, Time Warner was formed through the merger of Time and Warner Brothers back in the early 1990s. And basically you had them, merged together. And at that point, like, the big thing on the Warner side, you had the studios, you had the broadcasting, and you had HBO. Like, those were kind of the three pieces there. Time Warner then decides, obviously, to go through the AOL-Time Warner merger, which I think we all remember fondly. Yep. just again, like, the biggest bust of a merger in history. $108 billion, just, like, absolutely nuts. And then you see, okay, that finally gets, cleared out, and you end up with this slimming down and everything. And then AT&T comes along and says, hey, we're going to buy you for $108 billion as well. Nice. Okay, and we talked about it at the time. We're like, guys, this is a horrible fit. You've got a bunch of telecom people that are going to try to run a movie studio in HBO. That doesn't seem well. And they go through like 64 different names for HBO during the ownership, and finally, after like 2.5 years, they're like, no, we didn't mean to do this. Can we take it back? No, we can't take it back. Okay, we got to spin this off because this is not a good fit for us, and we're sorry that we ever tried to do this. So AT&T says, hey, kick all the Warner stuff back out, but in doing so, it goes through this whole mess of a thing that ends up finally basically ending up with Warner having to merge with Discovery in order to make an entity that anyone actually wanted to own in that format. So now you've got Warner Brothers Discovery out there, and pretty much, Warner Brothers Discovery is like, yeah, we've kind of been having some trouble operating, on our own. And a year ago, they say we might try to, sell ourselves and spin off the linear television, which we've talked about, like why companies are doing that. And so the thing that's kind of wild to me is that Warner's just had this run for the last almost 40 years now, 35 years, where it's just gone through failed merger after failed merger after failed merger. And somehow HBO has kept kicking along despite that. It's basically the only thing that's been working there. And, you've got the intellectual property beyond that is, there's some interesting things there.